Hello, my name is Lily Meek. I'm a Koori woman with ties to central New South Wales, Coolah and Dunedoo through my Hannah and Roy family connections. I work at NITV as a producer for Going Places with Ernie Dingo. Going Places with Ernie Dingo, as is a travel show. We have a few different criteria that we try and actually get from the show. And I would say the crux of its purpose is we have a huge belief that people make place. And whilst a travel show has an obligation to obviously show off beautiful parts of country around Australia, we also want to show off our beautiful people that we have here. And part of that means going to remote towns and cities and actually showing who people are in that place, what they do, what they bring to community, what their hobbies are, their specialities. And I think it's something different to get to travel, but also see a country in such an intimate way. Going Places, in its essence, to break it down, we have 36 stories across 12 episodes, so we've got 3 segments per episode. And the way that benefits purpose is we have 5 different hosts. So purely from a host point of view, we've got different genders, we've got different mobs, and we've got different generations. And I think that's really important because it's diversity in storytelling, which is important. It's diversity in stories because some stories lend themselves better to different hosts. Different hosts can bring about different knowledge and different ways of, presenting different people and their hobbies and talking to different aspects of that. But also the length of those episodes, the variety of segments that we have also show off more of country. Collaboration is really important in the process of making a show like Going Places with Ernie Dingo, because you need people with different skill sets to bring about different cruxes of knowledge to different pieces of pre-production, production, and post-production. So you want to make sure that you've got diversity in your team because you want to be yarning about ideas. If we're going to somewhere like WA, I would not be the knowledge holder for someone that knows about getting around or mob in WA. So culturally, we're always collaborating with mob because we do need to know those things. That's really important. Sometimes we want to tell artsy stories. Sometimes we want to tell stories about diving. Sometimes we want to tell stories about hot air balloons. Sometimes we want to tell stories about woodwork. So it's always such a funny thing filming the show because we're filming all of these weird and wonderful things that we're actually not knowledge holders at all about. So you kind of have to always talk and collaborate and make sure that you're building relationships with people so that you can work together to problem solve and best sort of platform the different stories that we're trying to tell. Any story we film with Uncle Ernie Dingo is a special story. And I think that comes with working with him as an elder, obviously, and with a man that has the career that he has, but also the knowledge that he has. He's been here, there, and everywhere with community, and he's always sewing back into community. So when I get to work with him, it's more than just filming. It becomes an educational experience for me, so I really enjoy that. Kinship, in its essence, to me means connection, and I think we can have kinship, especially as mob, through different strands. That can mean kinship with family, kinship with country, kinship with a responsibility. It's about collaborating. I think it's about harmony, and it's about being there for each other. It is thinking about that community web and sewing back into it. And what is your responsibility as a person to maintain that kinship, to speak up for it, to invest in it, to continue it, and to be proud of it. What would I bring to the table? I think consultancy is really important. So first and foremost, it's getting together to discuss purpose of your expo, what you want. When we're thinking about Going Places or any sort of production, we're always thinking about what we actually want to communicate to audiences. And I'd say the same thing goes for something like this is, what do you want people to look at and then walk away from, having seen whatever it is that you may put on in line with the theme. But I'd also say it's really important, as in pre-production for elements of a travel show or whatever show we'd be putting together, is consultancy. And especially if we're talking about themes surrounding country, from a First Nations perspective, I'd say that we're in a very topical, political climate, for lack of a better word, currently, where we are talking about what our First Nation people want. And we actually need to start sewing in and working to make sure that we're putting in the effort to consult with mob, but then also put into action what mob are saying. And it's not about representation, it is actually about that collaboration word is so important. And to go into that definition of kinship, what does our kinship with mob look like? And how can we work with mob to better advance ideas of climate change or cultural knowledge, education in this country? So I would say consult with as many perspectives as you can, get a smorgasbord of ideas together. And if you actually have sessions where you create a yarning circle or something where people can sit around and actually discuss what they think and then involve them in the process of that, I think you'll actually find it very beneficial from a community point of view, in which it'll be really rewarding. But B, you can start putting things together like a puzzle that actually contribute to a really cool big picture delivery, whether that be utilizing your skills in, audiovisual stuff, filming stuff. But I would definitely say include mob, get people to join in and collaborate, and utilize those themes of kinship to actually deliver on a project about kinship and country. Now we're going to need you to do a series of transitions. Can you just lie down on the couch?
Oh my God.